Recorded.
There you go. All right. So
All
let's
right.
just word problems into simple equations. And our first problem is you are a member of your local movie theaters club. For each movie ticket you buy, you earn 4 advantage points. When you earn 100 points, you get a free movie pass. Currently, you have 40 advantage points. How many tickets do you need to buy before you can earn a free movie? So what was the first thing that we did to figure out how many more tickets we need to buy? What was that first equation that you did?
I had to divide 4 into 100.
Right? So 100 divided by 4 is
25.
25. And then now have 40 advantage points. And so how many more points do you need?
25. No, 15. Had to divide 4 into 60.
Wait, you're missing a step there. Remember, we had to figure out, you said 100 minus 40. We need more.
60 points. And then you had to divide 4 into 60.
Correct.
Yeah, and that was 15.
15. So 15 movie ticket. To buy 15 more tickets, and then we get a free movie.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So that's good. So let's look at our next problem. I'm just gonna check. Did someone else join us?
I only see you and I. So I'm not
okay.
sure.
Then that's good. I thought I heard a ding. Okay. So here's our next problem. Dan works in sales. He earns 3% commission on the total sales he makes each week. So is commission something you're familiar with, Lana?
Yes and no. I know it's not a salary. I know it's a percentage of whatever a total sale is. You get a part of it.
Okay, great. That's it. That's the idea. And a lot of people work on commission, like realtors, car salespeople, sometimes appliance salespeople, and manufacturing. A lot of people make a commission when they sell. So he's earning 3% commission on the total sales he makes each week. So how would we write that in an equation?
Oh Lord. Well, I'm not sure if that would be written like in a decimal form. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember how.
Yep, let's talk about that. The 3%. 3%, when we're talking percents, that is just a ratio of it's written like a fraction, and we have decided that we will always be looking at a denominator of 100. So we're saying we're making this ratio. What would it be if there were $100? If he made $100, or if he sold $100, how much money would he make? And we're saying for every $100 he sells, he gets 3. So a percent is just a ratio where we're always comparing, we're always saying the whole number is 100. And that lets us make comparisons no matter what our actual numbers are. We're saying, what if we had 100? What would be 100? So in order to figure out the decimal, we just take, if it's 3%, we say, what is 3 divided by 100?
It would be Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It, it would be what, 30?
So another way of thinking of it is think of it as a fraction. I'm going to be able to write with my little with my little pen, which is hard. Whoops, particularly hard. Okay, so here's our fraction: 3/100. And if we write that as a decimal,
That'd be 0.03.
0.03, correct? Which we actually say, if we are saying it completely correctly, we say it without the point, and we would say it just like we say the name of the fraction, 3/100. So I know that it's very common for us to say like fraction is 0.3, but in reality, it's tenths. Okay, so it's just the important thing of that is that it reminds us what we're really saying. 0.3 is what it looks like, but what it really represents is 3/10. This looks like 0.03, but what it represents is 3/100. Does that make sense?
Yes, because the 3 is in the ones place, the 0 is in the tens place. I mean, so yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. So here we have a 3% commission, and we have figured out that if we want to write that in decimal form, it will look like this: 0.03 or 3/100.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to represent his salary, oh, hey, Tashana,
Hello, good morning.
how are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Lana is on the call with us. Do you know Lana?
No,
Oh, no. She might go to the one on the west side.
no.
Oh, she might be new. I don't know.
So we're just doing some word problems here. Okay.
Okay.
So we're talking about Dan, who works in sales, and he earns 3% commission. Are you familiar with that term commission, Tashana?
I think so. It's money, right?
It is money.
Okay.
Do you want to? You had a good explanation. Do you want to explain? Yes, no, no. Okay. So you in sales, a lot of times you calculate the total number of sales that you make in a week. Like if you're a realtor or a car salesperson, a client salesperson, if you sell $100, then you get $3. So for my sister-in-law, who is a realtor, when she sells a house, she usually gets 6% commission. So if she sells a $100,000 house, she makes $6,000. Okay. So she doesn't make any salary at all. Realtors work strictly on commission. So if they don't sell a house, they don't make any money. Sometimes car salespeople make a small salary and then they make a commission on top of that. For every car they sell, they make something. So we're trying to figure out an equation that would represent his salary. And we know that 3% can be written in this decimal form. 3/100 looks like 0.03. So now what do we do?
But you have to multiply.
Yep, you do have to
multiply the 3% by the 600, and that'd be what, 180?
Are you looking at this 600 down here?
Yes.
Okay, not yet. We're not there yet. We're still right here where we're writing an equation.
Do you have to multiply the 0.3 times the 3?
Nope.
That'd be like,
No. So here's the conundrum. Here's the problem. We don't have enough to figure out what his salary would be right now. We don't have enough information because we don't know what his total sales are this week, right? So
mhm.
what we know is that if we want to know his salary, we're going to multiply his sales times 3%. So what that looks like is, I hope, come on you, it's here somewhere. I think I have to get out of my drawing tool. This can be problematic times. There we go. Okay, now I'm there. So what we know is that his salary is going to be equal to 3%, which looks like this, 3/100ths, times whatever his sales are. And we're saying that his sales are X. Okay? So this is an equation with two variables. When you have two variables, you can't do anything with it, right? I mean, that's all we can say. It's like making a formula. Now let's go down to this next one. If Dan wants to make $600 this week, how much does he need to sell?
I guess you divide them first.
Well,
So
what does this $600 represent? Is it his sales or is
his
it
commission,
his?
it'll be his commission.
That's right. That it's going to represent his salary or his, in this case, his total commission. So we're going to substitute it in right here for this salary, for what this is what he wants to make. So what we don't know is what his sales are. So go ahead and write that down. See what that looks like when you write it down. And then we'll see if it looks like what I wrote. I hope I wrote something. Let's see. So is that what yours looks like?
No. Mine was different, way different.
What does yours look like?
Well, I originally had wrote the 3% over 100 and then put a multiplication sign and then put 180 and then put the bracket for the division and left that as an empty to try to figure.
Okay. Okay. You got ahead of yourself. So if you put this over 100, you've written a different equation, because then, I mean, a different number. So this is already 3/100ths. So you don't need to have a fraction underneath. Decimal point tells us that that's 3/100ths. Okay.
Okay.
So we have figured out that this 600 is his total salary. Do you know how to solve for X?
No.
Was that Lana or Tayshana? I can't tell your voices apart. Okay. So,
I'm sorry. I'm cleaning the baby nose. That wasn't me.
Okay. Tayshana, do you know how to solve for x in this equation?
We divide both sides by 0.3, right? I mean by 0.03x.
Yep, exactly right. So you have your calculator there. Tayshana, do you have a calculator?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Hold on, let me see. Um, 6 divided by that's 0.03. 0.03.
Mhm.
2,000. Wait. 200,000. 20012. Wait, because it's not a dot in there. Hold on. One. Shit. I forgot how to turn it into wait. So the 20,000?
It is 20.
That's what I came up with too.
Hey, Lana. So, are these kinds of problems, have you gotten to these kinds of problems yet?
No.
Where you're solving for x? Okay. So, that you all are at kind of two very different places. So I need a second just to kind of think about what I can do to help both of you. And I'm kind of wondering if we have a half an hour left. Does it make sense for me to give each of you 15 minutes by yourselves, so that we can kind of focus on what you need, because you're at two very different places, and I think it would be, you would benefit more from spending 15 minutes separately than a half an hour together. Does that make sense?
Yes and no, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Okay. The good thing about this is, like, for example, okay. Now, I have had this in school before. Been out of school for a long time.
Okay.
But
Why not?
go ahead.
But what? I'm coming back. I realize I will be able to see your faces if I stop sharing. Where are you? Where are you? There you are.
I'm here. Can you see me or?
No, it's me. It's my problem. I have paused sharing, but so why am I not getting back to your beautiful faces? Oh, but because there you go. Now I'm there. Okay. So go ahead and tell me, what are you thinking?
I'm saying because, okay, I'm listening to like other people's ideals, as well as how you were explaining it as well. As you see, like I gave my take on how I thought to do it. You said I was jumping ahead of myself. Either way, I'm still learning.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I have a problem with it. I don't know how the other person feels about it.
Hey, Shauna, how are you? She might have got.
Yeah, no. I'm actually fine with it. Like,
Okay.
I actually get on every math section, and I like some of them I don't even have to get on. I just get on just to freshen up or to see if I remember how to do it.
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll keep on going then.
I'm actually glad that it's somebody else on here instead of me. I thought our class actually went down as just one person.
Okay. Here's our next one. So the yellow cab company. Oh, wait a minute. I need to get rid of this over here. The yellow cab company charges 25 cents a mile, but as soon as you get in the cab, you owe them $5. Express Cab charges no fee to get in the cab, but $1.50 a mile for the ride. So we're going to write an equation for the cost of riding with each company.
So is this word problem wrote out? I mean, or typed out, or because I still see the Dan in sales.
Sorry. How about that?
Okay. So now let's see. The yellow cab company. I don't have nothing. The yellow cab company charges 25 a mile. 25 cents a mile, but it costs $5 to get in the cab. The cab charges no fee to get in the cab, but
Lana, if you were going to drive 5 miles and cost you $1.50 a mile, how would you figure out how much you owed the company?
But you said if I drive 5 miles
Yep.
and I owe them $1.50 a mile,
Yep.
I would multiply that.
Good. What would be the equation that you would use?
I would I would write it up like this, like a multiplication.
So you would write it out as 5 times 150 equals 50, right?
It's a 5 mi to 65 miles, and then of course I $1.50. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, so we're getting a lot of feedback. I'm gonna mute you for a second, okay, Tatiana? Just for a
okay,
second. Let me see. Is that you?
might
Maybe
be.
not. No. Okay, we're good now. Okay, so if you were just figuring out the miles or the cost, you would say $1.50 times 5, right? And that equals $7.50, or the cost of the ride. So that's you. If you know that, you can solve the rest of this problem. Okay.
Mhm.
That's the way you need to start thinking about it. Okay, is that if I know the number of miles I'm riding, then you clearly know how to do that, right? You can figure out the cost. So now we're just thinking about it this way. I don't know how many miles I'm going to ride, but I can tell you kind of a formula for how to figure it out. So one of the first things we always do is we do something when we're writing equations, we do something called defining your variables. Okay, so I'm going to use some variables in writing this equation. And I'm going to say, when you see Y, that's the cost of the riding in the yellow cab. When you see X, that's going to stand for the cost of riding an express cab. And when you see M, that's the number of miles that I've traveled. Okay. Tayshana,
Okay.
what should you do next?
What do you do next?
Yep.
Okay. The yellow cab company charge. So Y is 25. Cost of cab. 25 plus 5.
You're really close. Yellow,
25. Wait, yellow cab company charges 25 a mile.
yeah.
Okay, so the yellow cab is 25, 25 times. It costs $5 to get in the cab. The cost of express cab. Okay, to get in is $5. So it's 25 times 5. And express cab charges no fee to get. Wait,
No,
wait,
you
it
are
costs.
hang on just a minute. So here's 25 cents. If I that by 5, it tells me that I'm getting in just to get in the cab, it costs $5. Do I get charged $5 every time I drive a mile?
No.
No. I get charged $5 one time.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
first time
it
you 0.25 or 25 hundredths or cents plus $5. That is almost correct. It's 25 cents though for every mile. What do I need to multiply?
um 150 times 5? No, 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 no. Oh, the miles. 25 25 times 150.
Okay, we've got two different equations going on here. We've got one for the cost of yellow cab. So here's this. The cost of yellow cab is 25 cents times the number of miles plus the $5 just that I get charged one time. So here's what Lana told us. Lana told us that the cost of the express cab is $1.50 times the number of miles. Okay, so that's the total cost of a ride. This is how I figured it out. I said, Lana, how much would it cost me if I went 5 miles? And you said $1.50 times 5, right? And that equals to my ride. So with yellow cab, it's 25 cents a mile, and then I have to add in the cost $5, which is kind of like a flat fee. So as soon as I get in the cab, they're going to charge me $5. Okay, so this is like a formula for figuring out the cost of the, sorry, this is a formula for figuring out the cost of riding with the two cab companies. So we actually have two equations. So got two different things going on there. So you have to figure out two different equations, and you have to be careful not to mix up the different parts and make it all into one big equation. Not yet. There's a case where we do that, but not yet. Okay. So let's look. What is our next question? So now we know we have a model that tells us how much we're going to pay when we get into each different cab. So if you're going to drive 7 miles, which cab company should you call?
The yellow cab. But I have a question though. I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
Because with the first equation, I came up with 7.5. So, and then with the second one, the way that I did it, which may be wrong, but I came up with something different. I figured the way that the problem was set up is that it would be a division problem, and that the answer would be 20, because after I got the first one, which when I came up with 7.5, and I said, okay, well, if you figure out how many miles uh, it would be, which I came up with 7.5, and I was like, okay, well then it will make more sense to divide 20, well, 0.25 into $5, since the flat fee is $5. So if I divided it by 25, I came up with 20.
Okay, so here's the situation. I call the cab, they come, and the driver says, okay, he hits the little meter on the cab, and it starts at $5. And then I drive 1 mile. How much do I owe the cab driver?
25, what, 525?
$5.25. Perfect. I drive 2 miles. How much do I owe the cab driver?
550. Okay, I get it.
Okay. If I drive 3 miles, I owe him $5.75. If I drive miles, I owe him $6. Okay. So
Okay.
that's the situation, and that's what this equation right here is saying. When I get in the cab, the driver flips the meter, and it starts at $5. If I 1 mile, I'm going to say 25 cents times 1, and add that to 5. 5 plus 25 cents is $5.25. If I drive 2 miles, I start with my $5. 5 cents times 2 is 50, and then I add those together and get $5.50.
Okay.
Okay. So this is great. This is a great lead in to the next question, which is, if you were going 7 miles, which cab company should you call? So how do I figure that out? Back to these two equations. And now I know that I'm going to go 7 miles. So what do I do?
So
Do you multiply it?
I the 150, or I can multiply the 7 by 0.25 plus $5.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Lana. That's exactly right. So what you're going to do, we call that substituting in for the variable. So now here, this just represents any number of miles. Now I know the number of miles I want to substitute in. So I'm going to put that into my equation. Let's see what that looks like. So here's the yellow cab. Here's my first equation. That's my model. And then I substitute in the 7 for the M. And then I just do this arithmetic. 0.25 or 25 cents times 7 plus 5. Woohoo! Lana, great. So you get $1.75 plus 5. It costs me how much, Lana?
$6.75.
$6.75 to go with yellow cab. So think about, how do I figure out the other one, the express cab? Here's that equation, X equals $1.50 M. So what are you going to do with that? I want to go 7 miles.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
You do 150 times 7. Well, yeah.
Cause I'm saying the other way I did it, what did I do? Did the 150 times 5 miles and came up with 7.5. So I'm
That's right. If you were going to go 5 miles, you would substitute in 5 right here.
okay. I get it.
Yep. But now we change it up. We want to go 7 miles. So we're going to substitute in 7 right here. So which cab company are you going to call?
Let's see.
If you have to go 7 miles, which company do you want to call?
I would call the other one.
Which one?
The yellow taxi.
Yeah, the one we just did. I can't remember, what was it? Express cab, I guess. Yeah, because yellow cab was the first one.
You want to pay $10.50? Or do you want to pay $75?
No, the other one, which is express cab. Because the first one was yellow cab, right? So the second one, which is the one with express.
$6.75 is yellow cab.
Oh, okay.
We defined our variables. Y is the yellow cab and X is the express cab.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's on the other page. I thought the yellow cab was the first one.
That's okay. That's why we define our variables, so we know what we're talking about. So
Okay.
answer, if we write it out, is we want yellow cab only cost me $6.75 and is cheaper, so that's the one I'm going to call because I don't want to pay more than I have to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if you're going to only drive 3 miles, wherever you're going is only 3 miles away, which company should you call?
I would call the let me see. I would call yellow.
Well, figure it out. Substitute, go back to your equations and substitute in 3 miles in your equation and solve.
Let's see. The way that I wrote it, which I guess I wasn't paying attention when it was showing which one was yellow and which one was the express. This is why I'm confused. I know
Okay.
one of them was $5 once you get in a cab, and the other one was 25 cents. So I don't remember which was which because I didn't write that down.
Let's go back. This is yellow cab right here. This one right here. Y equals 25 cents times the miles plus $5. This is yellow cab.
Okay.
And this is express cab.
Express is the one with $1.50. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
At 3 miles.
Yep. 3 miles to Shauna.
I would go with the yellow.
Okay. Let's see what we did here.
I said express cab.
Okay. Let's look. Is this what your equation looks like? For yellow cab, yellow equals 2,500 25 cents times 3 plus 5.
No. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you can see that.
Well, hang on just a minute. Let me see. What am I looking at? Read it to me and let me see what you got.
Like I put on this side where I put the 0.25, I put yellow because you said the
Yep.
5 and 150 was yellow. So I just assumed that the other one with the 5, I didn't, where I got my paper is confusing.
Yes, it is.
So that's what the
Okay, so Lana, this is what it should look like. Y equals 0.25m plus 5. And then you're going to substitute in the 3. So go ahead and start from here and see if you can get down to there.
what I really need to do is I need to write the first one that we did before this part so I can make sure that I'm keeping the yellow side separate from the express side. Because this is
Yes, this is all part of math is being organized, which is not really my best thing. So I have to work really hard at being organized. Tayshana, is this what your equation looked like?
I actually didn't write it down. I just put it in the calculator.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So you got,
let me
what
see,
did you
25 times 3 plus 5. So I did, you know what I did? Okay, because I got 4.5. So what I did was I just put it all together instead of doing 25 times 3 and getting the answer and then doing 75 plus 5. I did 25 times 3 plus 5 and I got 4.5.
And you know why? I'm going to, let me, yes, because.
But it's still cheaper than the other one.
Wait a minute, why did you get 0.25 times 3? That should have worked. You should have gotten the right
And I did 25
I think.
times 3, 5. Oh, wait. No. Wait, 5. Okay, 0.25 times 3 plus 5. Okay. 0.5.
You still gotten the right answer. So I'm not, even if you put it in, just across, I'm not sure what happened there, but so let's do the next one. So the next
would have been cheaper. So that's where I was confused at.
Oh, you know what?
what? So Lonnie, you got that one.
I
Totally
got
fine.
4.5 for that one.
I was confused on which side. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I couldn't remember which form. That's what I was saying.
Okay, there you go. So it is Tayshana. When you're doing these, and it sounds like Lana too, that if the more you can sort of like instead of kind of writing all over your paper or not writing it down, organize paper so that you like maybe have one sheet of paper per problem, and keep your formulas right there in front of you, well labeled. A large part of math is staying organized and remembering, what your variables stand for. And one of the big things that I worked with students all the time was defining your variables and looking back at the problem to make sure that you're staying on track. And one of the best things you can do for yourselves is to, start at the top of your paper, work straight down, keep organized, and that eliminates some of the little problems when you really know the answer and you know what's going on. And the problem is not that you don't know the math, but that you're confusing your own self by not being organized. as I said, this is one of my problems that I had to really work through when I really started teaching math, was to keep myself organized. So I understand the issue there, okay? But and we know what the answer is, right? The answer is Express Cab, because it only costs $4.50. Okay, that is 10 o'clock. So the end. I think there's one more question here. Do you have an idea of how you would try to figure out when the cost of the drives would be equal? Like it wouldn't matter which company you took because you'd end up paying the same thing?
No. What would I do? Add them both and then divide them to find a.
Well, you could do, remember when we were doing graphing? We could graph and find where the lines cross. Or we could say that what we want to know is when they're equal. So we could put these two equations, like this is the cost of driving in a yellow cab, and this is the cost of driving in a express cab, and we can make them equal to each other and then solve.
Okay, I don't know how to do that. Like, I would need an example.
That's right. We would get there, but it will not be today because it is 10 o'clock. And that's all the time they give me. But Tayshana, I know that when you knew about subtracting, so you would subtract the 0.25m from both sides, and then and you would divide. We get m equals 4. So I'm leaving it on this recording so that you can take a look at that. Once it gets posted, you can go back and take a look at that as an example. Okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Lana, Tayshana, it's been wonderful working with you, and I hope to see you again on another session.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.